Welcome to the Tiny Marketing Podcast. I'm Sarah Noel Block, and this show is made for solo consultants who want to get booked out without burning out. If you've ever thought, I just want this to feel easier, you're not alone. Around here, we focus on simple, sustainable growth that actually fits into your life so growth feels doable instead of overwhelming. Hello. Sam, can you introduce yourself to the audience?
Absolutely, Sarah. My name is Sam. I'm a Greek national, born and raised in Athens, Greece. I'm super passionate about building systems. I have a background in technology, computer science, and software engineering. And I spent a couple of years abroad, like I was living in Berlin, where I started my career. And then after I moved to Canada, where I was in the consulting sector. But my true passion was finding a problem and solving it. And hence we decided to create CrewFiction in order to support authors with their online presence. Aside from that, I'm a big fan of sports. Used to play basketball for many years and now a marathon runner. So that's a big part of my life as well.
Nice. Yes, you run CrewFiction, and I've queued this up a little bit on Tiny Marketing Pod before, but I'm working on a side project called Bestseller Experiment, where I'm going through all of the marketing that I do for my own super secret, not really secret, pen name of my author brand. So it's not a secret. I've talked about it before. Everyone heard about it. So I met Sam through my writing life, my Batman world. And we talked about, I started testing out CrewFiction after you reached out to me. And I found that it solves a lot of problems that authors have when they first start writing and publishing and building their careers, because you're awesome writers. That's why you got started. But maybe you don't have experience with marketing. And I think that really, I just got lucky that I happen to be a marketer who writes. So that part came easy to me. But I can see where other people would fall off, because you need a website. You need SEO. You need to start building an email list. And that's not something that just comes naturally to you if it's not your world, if marketing isn't your world. So the first thing that I want to talk about before we get into email list building and all of that is the author website. So Sam, why do authors need a website?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the intro. And I'm super excited that you enjoyed the platform and it solved some of the main problems. Why authors need a website? I think it's the first, let's say, handshake between an author and a reader. It's the first step of creating a professional online space. So for people first of all, so for you to be discoverable online, and then for people to be able to come in and understand who you are, what type of stories do you write, and for you to be discoverable. The websites act in a way that people can come in, they can understand who you are, and then on top of that, building your marketing techniques on your website as well is a unique combination that we are hoping to create as well.
Yeah. So usually the first thing that an indie author does when they've decided to publish is they make sure that it's on Goodreads. They make sure that it's on KDP. And the thing about Goodreads is you need to have an author website in order to get approved as an author on Goodreads. So you don't have access to your author dashboard unless you have a website. And that means building, that means possible code. But with CrewFiction, it makes it so much easier because they literally have a template, and you're just like, you can import your books from Amazon into it and you have a website. It takes maybe 3 minutes. And that's the reason I really wanted Sam on this show, is because you cannot have an author dashboard on Goodreads, and it's so valuable. If you're not looking at your statistics on Goodreads, your author dashboard, you're missing out because you're finding out so much. But you can't do it without a website. The thing is, So with CrewFiction, you can build your website in 3 minutes, but in order to get approved on Goodreads author dashboard, you need to have a custom URL. But you're able to do that in CrewFiction. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. As you mentioned, the main priority is how can we create something fast and have something simple? Because at the end of the day, authors need to have a professional online space with all of their books. So we have a particular template that every author has. And whether you have published 1 or 150 titles, your author site is created automatically in a matter of seconds, in a matter of minutes, actually 2 or 3 minutes to be precise,
Yeah. And
and all
it's
of your books
easy.
and all of your books are automatically there. Exactly. So with the CrewFiction side, an author is increasing their chances to get approved by Goodreads, since we meet all the Google standards, and we are creating a dedicated site with their books online. As you also mentioned, they have the ability also to have their custom domain with their name on it, which is also an important factor for Goodreads to approve your author site. Beyond just Goodreads approval, having that branded hub gives authors the credibility and a place to direct new readers from anywhere, either social media, newsletter, promotion, so on and so forth. So that also gives another advantage for you to get approved by Goodreads.
Yeah. And so when I started testing out, the first thing that I noticed is the SEO is immaculate because I have my own standalone author website. I'm a marketer. That was easy for me. I just I had one already. I have articles written about my books and I have all sorts of SEO out there, and Crew Fiction beat it all. Like the everything with my name attached to it and Crew Fiction moved to the top of Google. It So explain your SEO to me. Like what did you do in order to make your like author profiles so highly ranking?
Yeah, SEO is truly one of the most important factors for authors to be visible and discoverable online. And to be honest with you, our team, the other two co-founders, have like vast experience in SEO and marketing since they have been in the industry for many
Nailed it.
years. Yeah, exactly. So we truly invest in having a healthy SEO. So for to be as simple as possible for fiction authors, it really depends whether a reader who is searching for your genre, your themes, or even your tropes can actually find you. So for us, healthy SEO means that your name is easy to find, your books show up for relevant searches, and also on other platforms, including AI tools, you can be identified. So a good SEO today is about being discoverable everywhere. And how we do that, how we achieve a strong SEO is, first of all, with an on-page and a technical SEO. I know that I'm using some jargon right now, but these are two like very standard ways of building an SEO, a healthy SEO. So authors, they don't need to do that complexities themselves. As you clearly stated in your introduction, we try to take some of the burden that authors have. One of these, let's say, obstacles is that they have to do complex stuff and technical stuff. So we achieve a healthy SEO with an open on-page SEO, which is a clean page structure, a search-friendly titles and headlines, and also a complete listing of your books on our website. So as long as someone is coming to our website and creates their author site, automatically we generate an additional profile of theirs and is listed on our website.
Yeah.
Um,
So you end up getting two two essential listings because you have your
two,
website, which is
two in
what
one.
you own. Yeah. And then you have your author profile, which is visible to like readers.
Exactly. And on top of that, I should mention that it is aligned with Google standards. So also the technical SEO, there is no need to dive into technical details, but we have page speed optimization and we secure and we have clean HTMLs. But the most important thing is that we also have high content. We have a high content ecosystem. What do I mean by that is that we generate high quality content through our blog, and our blog runs for thousands of keywords and many on page one of Google. So indirectly, that benefits all authors who are part of the ecosystem and using CrewFiction as their tool.
Yeah. It actually, like truly stunned me how quickly Crew Fiction, like everything about me in Crew Fiction, moved straight to the top and started beating everything. But you talked about the tropes, which I want to dig into a little bit for any authors who are listening to this right now. Tropes are what readers are looking for. Whenever they're doing a search, it's usually like something around a trope. And that is front and center with the Crew Fiction websites, which I really liked. So there's maybe there's three things that you really need to do when you're building out your Crew Fiction website as an author. You're importing your books. You are deciding your tropes. You're putting your tropes right on there, and then you're doing like your design elements on there. So like picking your background color, adding your pen name and your profile photo, and that's pretty much it. That's all you really have to do. And if you take it that step further, add your custom domain. But essentially it's those three things. Super easy. But the tropes make it so easy for readers to be able to find you.
Correct. And just before tropes, I should also mention the genres, right? Because that's exactly as you said, as you described it. We're asking, what's your pen name? What is your genre? And what is your trope? Then the rest is handled by us. So the moment you include these details, automatically there is a website about yourself with all of your books. And then you have the ability to add your reader magnets and customize it, as you said.
Yeah.
Tropes, since you focused on that, is the best way of you being discoverable as an author. And on top of that, start participating on promotions and author swaps and cross promotions. Because eventually Crew Fiction is an ecosystem of fiction authors where they can join and start collaborating with others who are writing similar tropes. Finding people with similar tropes is easy way to cross-promote your craft and start generating more readers, which is the goal at the end of the day.
That's a good kickoff for the email list. So first, before we get into email specifically, let's talk about the reader magnets. This is the actual reason that I was like, yeah, okay, I'll try out Crew Fiction. Was the reader magnet is front and center. It's super easy to send out and add your reader magnet, which like it's incredibly important to me to build my email list as an author. That's where the money's made. That's where you build like a sustained fan base. So you can trade out your reader magnet seasonally if you want, or you can have, or for each of your launches, just trade it out. It's super easy. You can also do the option of not having the reader magnet and putting your arcs there instead. And so those are some ways to build your email list. And then on top of that, you have that entire ecosystem of other authors. I think you have over 600 authors, at least last time we talked, that are on there. So you can connect with them and do swaps and collabs. But let's talk a little bit about your email platform because that's brand new. I haven't even gotten to play with it yet. First, is there any advice that you'd want to give to authors on other ways they can grow their email list?
Other ways apart from reader magnets, you mean?
Yeah.
Specifically?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you talked about collabs, for example. What are some types of collabs that they can do?
As mentioned earlier, the finding people who are writing similar stories to yours is a great idea of starting collaborating and reaching out and doing reader swaps, and also participating in promotions. For example, there are many promotions that we run as well. So for example, we ran one last year which was called a Happy New Year collab, where people from especially like a particular genre, historical romance, for example, they all participated in. They offered a glimpse of their stories, and then they started exchanging readers. This is a great way. Reader magnets is definitely the number one way of building a true fan base. It's not only because it's free, it's because you're giving a glimpse of who you are and what you write. And it's the easiest way of doing it. By welcoming a reader, because we are also like creating automated emails that you can customize. You're greeting the reader, you're saying who you are, you're introducing yourself very quickly, and you are just giving a deleted chapter or something that you wrote and they should know about you. Apart from that, email newsletter is super important, and many authors don't really understand that. Definitely social media, making posts on Instagram or on TikTok are super important. However, the number one sales tactic of very successful, either self-published authors, but also traditional published authors, is having an email newsletter and being able to retain that email newsletter and engage your audience with interesting stories or sharing with your audience at which stage you are right now of your book, what you're thinking, and generally being expressive. I truly believe that this is a unique way of building a true fan base.
Yeah. Yeah. If someone liked one of your books, it's very likely they're going to like the others. And like retaining that relationship is so important. I think that one of the best decisions I made in my author life is having reader magnets available for each of my books in the front and back matter of my book. So anybody
Hmm.
who read it, they get a reminder at the beginning and at the end. Here's a bonus for you. Like for strings attached, I had a short story that took place like 6 years later with the same characters. For
Yeah,
Fold here, I had a deleted scene where they're super hungover in the book, but you get to see what was the party that happened when you download that. And then in February, Deep Cuts comes out, and I'm going to do the lost voicemails that happened during this year-long separation, but just like a creative way to pull people into your story and expand on it. And then as a bonus, there you have their email. So for your next launch, it'll be even bigger. And that's what I've experienced anyway. Like
yeah.
my email list gets bigger and bigger, and each launch has been bigger and bigger.
If I may mention something here, you just revealed our next and most favorite feature,
Oh, what?
which is called bonus scenes. And this is exactly what we do. Like for people who enjoy a particular book, we will give the opportunity to authors to include the bonus. That this bonus scene is basically locked. As a result, people need to come in and include their email addresses in order to unlock them and then be able to read it directly on the platform and then rate how they liked it. And as long as this is happening, this process is happening, our system is consuming the data and is sending this information to the author in order also to help with the insights. Insights is super important for us. We try, we build a system that, as mentioned earlier, consumes data and reports back to the author, guides the author on how successful was your previous book and how many people downloaded the bonus and how did they react. And
That's
that
pretty
way,
cool.
your decision making is also getting facilitated.
Yeah, yeah. Use that data so you know what reader magnets are attracting readers. What do they like? Absolutely every experiment that you do is going to yield you more data to allow you to make a slight pivot so it works better the next time. Okay, so let's talk about your email platform. I haven't gotten to play with it, so cue it up for me. Tell me how it works and how other authors can use it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, email newsletter is our biggest highlight of 2025. Just a little story behind it that we launched earlier this year, February to be precise. Since then, we have 650 signups, authors who are using our tools. And we are super excited that a month ago, actually, we launched the first version of the newsletter. It is the first email newsletter that is entirely focused on fiction authors. So it is built specifically for fiction authors and it is designed around story-driven workflows and timelines and processes and workflows. So the main competitive advantage of CrewFiction's email newsletter is that we design workflows and processes that only fiction authors need to use. So let's say that you want to send a sequence of 5 emails from the cover review to the review request. This is a chain of 5, 6 different steps, for example. We are creating these templates automatically, and then authors can join in and use them very fast without needing to customize every single part. Of course, there are fantastic email newsletter tools out there. but they are generic. Ours is authors first and beat specifically for fiction authors.
That you
Mm,
have templates set up. I think that so let's pause right there for a second. That's one of the huge roadblocks, I'd say, for a lot of fiction authors is what do I write? What do I email my audience? So you have templates and sequences already queued up. So if they don't know, like I could come up with 1,000 ideas because this is what I do on my day job. But for a fiction writer, you have those templates already set up. So they know exactly what they need to write.
exactly. Of course, it's purely optional because many people might not want to use the templates, so they can be customized as well. But yeah, at the end of the day, the main problem that we're trying to solve is the amount of time that authors spend online in order to create a professional online space. So number one is that they're juggling multiple platforms. So we are creating a lot in one space, and with the email newsletter, we managed, or at least we are getting there to achieve it, because we just created the most important element of an offer. But secondly, the amount of time that they spend, of course, in creating templates and yeah, emails.
So earlier you were talking about collabing with other authors that are on the platform. Do you have a directory that is searchable?
Absolutely. I think I already mentioned the listing. So listing is something that is created automatically as long as someone is becoming part of CrewFiction and creates their author site. It's, let's say, a thanks to the author who joined us, and we are creating a page on the CrewFiction website that is, of course, getting segmented and categorized according to what you write, genres and tropes, where we put all of your books that are available on Amazon and that they are already published. And then, yeah, right now we receive tens of thousands of unique clicks on a monthly basis, where the majority of those is coming from readers, and they can come in and they can search for your name or they can search for your book and pull out the results.
What about on the author side? Where are authors able to search for the other authors using certain keywords so they can find good people to collab with?
Absolutely. So there is a searchable way of finding other authors with keywords by filtering by tropes or genres where they can find. Right now, we don't have a dedicated system of outreaching directly to these authors, but this is one of the main ideas that we are about to implement. And now that I mentioned that, this is how we operate as well in CrewFiction. I would like to highlight that based on what authors tell us, this is how we prioritize our work. And author swaps and author collabs are at the top of the list.
Yeah, when we
Um,
had our call, I was like, how do we do that? I want more of that.
exactly. I have good news and bad news. The bad news is that it's not yet ready, but it is. The good news is that is on progress, and we are building a very unique way of author collaborations that will be available in the first quarter of 2026.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, so it's on the roadmap.
Exactly, exactly, and at the top of the list.
Yeah, perfect. So I'm thinking we could stop the audio piece right here. And if you want, you could do a walkthrough and we could hit a walkthrough part just on the video aspect of it.
Absolutely, let's do that. I would love to.
Okay, so before I bring that onto the stage, why don't you tell people how they can get started and then we'll cut the audio there and this part separately. So, can you tell people how they can join Crew Fiction?
Absolutely. It's super easy. The website is crewfiction.com. However, for authors, just by Googling CrewFiction for authors, you will see the author platform, and it requires only your pen name. As long as you put your pen name in, then our system will identify you as an author and will create your website in less than 3 minutes. That's all, actually.
Yeah, and
We try to make simple things, actually.
it is super simple. You're gonna get an email right away from Sam for onboarding, and he does, in fact, reply. That's how we ended up talking and inviting on the show.
Actually, that's a great point, and thank you for mentioning that. since we're at the early stages, we are offering a one-on-one calls because I truly believe that building a great product is listening to your customer first. Definitely, we all have great ideas and we want to improve the systems that we build. But if we don't hear and listen to the customer and what they need, we're not going to implement that. The most important part of the onboarding is the one-on-one call that we still offer, and that I'm participating with every author specifically, and we listen to what they want and what they need in order for us to create it and get the feedback actually.
Yes, can confirm. I mentioned, can we have Goodreads on our social links within a half hour? You're like, yeah, I did that. Yeah, we'll bring it up.
Exactly.
It was so quick. Okay,
Exactly.
awesome. I am going to
Mhm.
add this to the stage and then video in the video only portion, we'll do this walkthrough. Sam, take it away. Do a walkthrough of CrewFiction.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate it. So this is the main page of the author site that you see right now on your screen. It's super easy and simple. As mentioned earlier, we try to save time from authors from managing technical stuff and needing to customize a lot of things while they're creating their author website. And we truly believe that there is no need for complexity in terms of how many sections and how many things an author needs to have. What they need is their social media, the reader magnet, all of their books. So as you can see automatically, all of the books are imported from this particular author, and then you have the freedom to select the ones that you want to show to your audience. You can easily add the book just by adding the ASIN code, and this will automatically import the book. Here we have the genres and tropes. As we mentioned earlier, we filter by genres and tropes and make it discoverable easier. You can either search it or scroll down to identify the one that fits your books. And the most important thing, the reviews. These are all fetched automatically here. You can again include the ones that are the top rated and the great
Yeah,
reviews
it's a
that
good
are
one.
the
I
good ones.
forgot to mention that. I really liked that feature.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, this is how our algorithm works. It brings mainly the top rated reviews and automatically we select three, the top rated ones. But again, you can scroll down, you can identify the ones that you love and include them to your site. Here, it shows a preview on the right-hand side where, you can check it out while you're customizing it before you publish it. But even if you publish it, you can come back, make an edit, and then save and publish your site. The first step of the all-in-one place is the link in bio. We all know tools like Linktree and others. We thought of like, why not to combine it into one place where people can have their books and their links into one place, and you can include unlimited links. So for the readers to find your online craft.
Yeah,
And
that has been really nice. I added my like ARC interest list for my next release, and people were real quick to sign up for it. And I use this.
exactly. Because at the end of the day, Sarah, the most important thing is how can you create a true fan base, right? And engage new readers. So one tip that I forgot to mention earlier is you get the link here, the URL link, and you post it on your social media, you post it on your newsletter. And this is the main source and your main hub where you include everything about yourself, your links and your books. Now, to the most exciting stuff. This is the home button. We try to create a sophisticated space where it will be driven by data. And eventually we hope to create a book marketing assistant. As I mentioned earlier, that we report back to you on what's happening on your online craft. We started with some basic analytics. How many page visits do you have? How many email subscribers? And how many Amazon clicks? But then we will dive deeper and offer more granular data. And the newsletter part, which is our biggest highlight, we tried to make it as simple as possible with a simple editor where you can include your books. So with a simple click, you can load one book, write a description, and include it in your newsletter with the same rationale, images. So let's say that I want to add an image here. It's loading in a couple of seconds, and then you can edit it, play with the alignment, play with the size, include an alt text or a link. Recently, we launched the button. So with the same rationale, you can edit your buttons and include links, which is very popular for authors. But as I mentioned earlier, the concept is that you will have templates, and according to what you want to do, whether you want to welcome a reader or whether you want to launch a book, you will select the templates that you want to use and then automatically use them, so for you not to spend so much time on building an email from scratch. There is an auto-save button, so for you not to miss your work or lose anything. You're setting the audience to whom you're sending it to and to where you will receive the responses. And last but not least, we have the review process where you can schedule your email or send it now to your audience. This is where all of your campaigns are. We include both the draft and the ones that are published. As you can see, on the published campaigns, you check some basic stats, such as how many emails were sent, how many people opened it, how many clicks did you receive, and you can also duplicate an existing campaign in order for you not to repeat the same stuff again and again. So again, we try to make authors' life easier by automating things and make it clean, beautiful, and all in one place.
Brilliant. Thank you. Hold on. Before I remove this from the screen, is there anything else that you want to show us on here?
I think the best thing to mention here is the subscribers button. Here is where you can be able to segment your readers, something very important. And as I mentioned earlier, during the one-on-one calls, we receive a lot of comments about segmentation. So right now, our development team is building tagging and segmentation, so you will be able to add them to an arc category, superfans, warm readers, so on and so forth. It's coming out this week, and it's actually a very interesting feature. And lastly, the listing that we talked about earlier, that will direct you to your profile on the CrewFiction page, and something that we really want authors to use, the roadmap. As mentioned earlier, it's an author's first platform. By going to the roadmap here at the bottom left, you can come in, vote for ideas, existing ideas, or suggest a new idea. And if your idea gets a lot of votes, then we will prioritize it accordingly.
Yeah, that was one of the first places I went was roadmap. Let's see what's happening. I'm a chronic beta tester. I love testing tech.
Wonderful.
Okay, thank you so much for joining me today. Okay, so everybody knows how they can get started with CrewFiction. Where can they follow you online if they want to connect?
Absolutely. So simple as that. sam@crewfiction.com is my email. Everyone can email me and they can have a one-on-one call. They can find us on TikTok. CrewFiction for Authors is our username, where we post also some stuff about tips. We give tips to authors, especially self-published authors. And that's it mainly. But we have all the information on the author platform on our site. And yeah, we are like super excited about interacting with authors who want to enhance their systems, develop them, make them more efficient. We are all about efficiency. We are super excited when we're connecting with authors who are curious and intrigued by our work.
If this episode made things feel a little more doable, I'd love to help you take the next step with the Booked Out Blueprint. It's a practical, low-pressure session to clarify your offers, your marketing, and what actually moves the needle. You can book yours through the link in the show notes. You don't have to figure it out alone.